Imagine standing in Mumbai, Miami, or Singapore on a sweltering tropical day, the ground sizzling at 32 degrees Celsius. The air is thick, humid, ordinary in every way until the unimaginable happens. 4 hours ago, at precisely 9:15 UTC on March 13, 2026, the laws of thermodynamics on Earth stopped working. You hear a sound like shattering glass. Look up and see diamond dust, millions of tons of microscopic ice crystals falling from the stratosphere. This isn't rain, it isn't hail, it's flash-frozen water vapor, descending in perfectly aligned grids, like some impossible work of celestial engineering. NASA's Ghost 1-9 satellite confirms what defies belief: a global, simultaneous drop in upper atmospheric temperature of 60 degrees Kelvin, occurring in a mere 3 seconds. To comprehend this, consider the energy required to cool the stratosphere of an entire planet instantly, roughly 400 petajoules. That's more energy than the total of the global nuclear arsenal extracted in the blink of an eye. Nature does not operate this way. Weather fronts cannot travel at light speed. Something extraordinary just occurred. Exactly 60 seconds before the ice fell, the Deep Space Network detected a high-frequency gravity wave burst originating from one object, 3I, Atlas. Currently 180 million kilometers past Mars, this object, once thought to be a simple comet, interacted with Earth's ionosphere in a way that breaks every standard model of physics. It didn't emit a radio signal. It didn't shine a laser. Somehow, it manipulated the thermal state of our atmosphere remotely. NOAA, one of the leading physicists tracking this, calls it a thermal inversion anomaly. But in truth, it is a demonstration of control at a planetary scale. Data from the European Space Agency's Sentinel-6 satellite shows the freeze isn't random. The ice crystals didn't fall haphazardly, they appeared in precise latitudinal bands, exactly 15 degrees apart. This isn't weather, this is geometry. The implications are staggering. If 3I, Atlas can extract heat from Earth at will, it controls not just our climate but the engine of our storms and potentially, our survival. The James Webb Space Telescope confirms the mechanism doesn't resemble any natural phenomenon. What we are witnessing is an active system, not a passive rock drifting through the solar system. When Pan-STARRS in Hawaii first observed 3I, Atlas in late 2025, spectral analysis suggested a standard long-period comet, a dirty snowball, a relic from the early solar system. But comets don't synchronize with Earth's weather satellites. Comets don't target specific latitudes with precision. The dirty snowball hypothesis is dead. Here's how it unfolded. At 9:10 UTC, 5 minutes before the ice fell, NASA's GO-19 satellite detected a massive ionization spike in the upper atmosphere. The electron density surged 400% in milliseconds. At 9:14 UTC, the thermal collapse began. At the stratopause, 50 kilometers above the Earth, temperatures plunged from roughly -15 degrees C to -80 degrees C in under 4 seconds. This is more than rapid cooling, it's a thermal shockwave of unprecedented scale. At the same instant, the European Space Agency's Sentinel-6 recorded a global pressure wave. The atmosphere compressed, confirmed as valid by ESA mission control in Darmstadt. Japanese satellite Himawari 9 captured the spectacle visually. Cloud tops in the tropical convergence zone froze in place, forming high-altitude ice sculptures. 3 independent sources, 3 different methods, all confirming the same impossible event. Pause and understand this. We are not witnessing sensor errors. We are witnessing a synchronized, global manipulation that defies thermodynamics. And that was only the first wave. 15 minutes later, at 9:30 UTC, a second thermal pulse struck the 30 degrees latitude bands north and south. 15 minutes after that, a third pulse targeted 45 degrees latitude bands. This is no accident. It is a sequence, a precise mathematical progression. Nature is chaotic, messy, unpredictable. 3I. Atlas is operating with metronomic precision, pulsing energy, or removing it with a level of sophistication humanity can barely comprehend. The precision doesn't stop there. When researchers analyzed the specific frequencies involved in the freeze, the findings were even more disturbing. The University of Tokyo's atmospheric physics lab detected a resonance at 7.83 Hz during the freeze events. That number isn't random, it's the Schumann resonance, the natural heartbeat of Earth's electromagnetic field. In essence, 3I, Atlas didn't just blast us with cold. It tuned into the planet itself, syncing its actions with the Earth's natural frequency. The sheer sophistication needed to cool a specific atmospheric band, while leaving air just 10 kilometers away, untouched, is beyond any technology humanity possesses. In labs, we can use lasers to manipulate atoms by fractions of a degree, but this object flash froze billions of tons of water vapor across thousands of kilometers with flawless precision. And yet, the scale of energy manipulation is just the tip of the iceberg. Where did all the extracted heat go? According to the law of conservation of energy, it couldn't have vanished. If it had been released into the lower atmosphere, thermometers would have spiked. If radiated into space, satellites would have recorded a blinding flash of infrared energy leaving Earth. Nothing happened. The heat disappeared. Either every sensor failed simultaneously, which is statistically impossible, or 3I, Atlas is harnessing physics we have yet to understand, a concept some are calling endothermic singularity physics, the ability to sink heat into a dimension beyond our perception. At 10:30 UTC, the James Webb Space Telescope detected a sudden spectral shift. 3I, Atlas stopped reflecting sunlight and began to glow in a deep blue spectral signature, a phenomenon associated with particles moving faster than light in a medium. But space is a vacuum. There is no medium. The data strongly suggests the missing heat from Earth was absorbed directly by 3I, Atlas, effectively making it a quantum heat sink. Across 180 million kilometers of empty space, it pulled 400 petajoules of thermal energy from our sky, storing it instantly. This defies the inverse square law, defies thermal diffusion, and proves we are witnessing directed energy transfer at a planetary scale. To put this in perspective, recreating this feat with human technology would require a laser aperture the size of the moon and power plants covering every continent. And yet, 3I, Atlas accomplishes this with an object less than 50 kilometers wide. The efficiency is staggering, terrifying even. By 11 UTC, the ice crystals began behaving in ways that challenged all known chemistry. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute collected samples and examined them under electron microscopes. Unlike natural ice, which forms in chaotic, unpredictable patterns, every crystal was identical. Perfect hexagonal lattices with exact 6-0-degree angles. This form of metastable ice typically exists only under extreme pressures deep inside giant planets like Neptune. It shouldn't exist at sea level. It shouldn't be stable, yet it was. This was clearly manufactured, not natural. Pause and consider the implications. 3I, Atlas can extract heat across the solar system and restructure water molecules into precise, artificial geometries. And why? The answer lies in the electrical properties of ice. Normal ice is an insulator, but under certain conditions, these crystals conduct electricity. By covering the Earth in a grid of conductive ice, 3I, Atlas didn't just freeze the atmosphere, it built a planetary scale antenna array. At 11:15 UTC, the array activated. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP, in Alaska, detected a signal bouncing off the new ice layer, a standing wave, a hum, at 28 MHz, the fundamental resonance of hydrogen, the universe's most basic element. And critically, the signal wasn't originating from Earth. It was coming from 3I, Atlas, reflected through the ice layer, and penetrating deep into the ocean floor. What we are witnessing is not aggression, it is scanning. The frozen atmosphere is a transmission medium, allowing 3I, Atlas to perform a planetary scale tomography, probing the Earth's interior. And minutes ago, at 11:45 UTC, the data indicated it found what it was looking for. The wide broadcast transformed into a narrow, focused beam aimed directly at the South Atlantic anomaly, a region over Brazil and the Atlantic where Earth's magnetic field is weak. Energy readings from that spot are now rising. The ice lens isn't just freezing the sky, it's channeling energy, preparing it, focusing it. And the real question now isn't how 3I, Atlas does this, it's what it plans to do next. By 12 UTC, the focus of 3I, Atlas's activity had shifted from the atmosphere to the ocean floor. The South Atlantic anomaly, a region previously known only as a weak spot in Earth's magnetic field, lit up like a beacon on every radiation monitor on the planet. But this wasn't radiation from space, it was coming from below. Data from the European Space Agency's swarm satellites, which measure magnetic fields with extreme precision, revealed a localized spike of 50,000 nanotesla rising from the ocean floor. This is not natural geology. This is not volcanic activity. Something immensely powerful, far beyond human engineering, had activated deep beneath the Atlantic. Moments later, at 12:15 UTC, the U.S. Navy's underwater hydrophone arrays picked up a low-frequency mechanical rumble. It wasn't seismic, it wasn't tectonic, it was rhythmic, precise, a 0.5 Hertz pulse emanating from 4,000 meters deep along the mid-Atlantic ridge. Thermal readings from the ocean floor skyrocketed, with water temperatures rising 15 degrees Celsius in just 1 hour. Whatever resides down there was generating colossal energy, and 3I, Atlas was feeding it, channeling power through the conductive ice layer suspended in the stratosphere. The system was functioning like a planetary-scale, wireless power transfer. This isn't a slow geological event that takes centuries to unfold. This is happening in minutes, and the efficiency of energy transfer is accelerating. By 12:30 UTC, the alignment of the ice crystals had shifted another 3 degrees. The beam of energy into the anomaly tightened, and the signal strength doubled. 3I Atlas wasn't static, it was adaptive. It was learning, optimizing, calibrating the connection to whatever lies beneath the Atlantic. Experts warn of the consequences. If this energy transfer continues unchecked, within 24 hours, the amount of energy being injected into the Earth's crust could exceed the annual energy output of human civilization. When that much energy is focused on geologically unstable fault lines, the results are catastrophic. Earthquakes, crustal displacement, magnetic pole shifts, potentially even a planetary scale reboot. The authorities are aware. Just minutes before this recording began, NOAA issued a classified Level 5 geomagnetic storm warning. Flights over the Atlantic are grounded. Carrier groups are repositioned. Military operators are preparing for an event of unprecedented magnitude. The pulses from the ocean floor are no longer random noise, they have structure. They have syntax. The rhythmic 0.5 Hertz pounding increased to 0.6 Hertz, then 0.7 Hertz. The frequency is climbing toward a resonance point, a critical level that could destabilize ice shelves, trigger supervolcanoes, or provoke other extreme planetary events. And there is nothing we can do to stop it. The ice in the stratosphere cannot be melted. Signals from 3I Atlas cannot be blocked. All we can do is watch, helplessly, as the clock ticks toward a threshold humanity has never faced before. Let's summarize what we know for absolute certainty. First, at 9:15 UTC, 3I Atlas demonstrated the ability to flash freeze the upper atmosphere, removing 400 petajoules of heat in mere seconds. This violates every known law of thermodynamics. Second, the resulting ice crystals are not random. They form a highly structured, conductive lattice, a planetary scale antenna array. Third, this array channels energy from the solar wind directly into the South Atlantic anomaly, provoking an extraordinary magnetic response from the ocean floor. And finally, NOAA's Level 5 geomagnetic warning confirms the gravity of the situation. These aren't theories. These are documented, triple-confirmed observations from NASA, ESA, and the U.S. Navy. But one question remains, the question that no official briefing addresses. Why is the signal frequency matching the human brain's resonant frequency? If this is merely a geological scan, we're witnessing the most advanced scientific instrument ever built, a probe designed to study us. But if this is a terraforming attempt, then the atmospheric freeze is only the first step. The next phases could alter the gas composition, reduce oxygen, and prepare the planet for something entirely foreign. And if it is a form of communication, the signal emanating from the Atlantic suggests we are not alone and never have been. As of 12:45 UTC, the energy transfer efficiency has reached 92%. The ice crystals glow brighter. Submarines up to 500 miles away can audibly detect the hum of energy emanating from the ocean floor. Every hour brings the planet closer to critical mass. Telescopes are focused, detectors are live, data streams are active. At T-4 hours, the signal pattern changed again. It is no longer a simple pulse, it is a calculated sequence, escalating in intensity and precision. The question now isn't what 3I Atlas is, it's what it intends to do next, and the world is powerless to intervene. By 13 UTC, the reality of what 3I Atlas had constructed became clear. The ice crystals in the sky weren't just frozen water, they were part of a massive, adaptive grid. Each hexagonal lattice acted as a conductor, forming a planetary scale circuit linking the atmosphere to the South Atlantic anomaly. Essentially, the upper atmosphere had become a giant receiver and transmitter, a network designed to channel energy with precision. The scale and complexity are unlike anything humanity has ever built. The ice crystals themselves were extraordinary. Unlike natural ice, which is chaotic and fragile, these metastable crystals were identical, perfectly aligned, and resilient under conditions where normal ice would instantly shatter. Laboratory analysis confirms they are capable of conducting electricity under extreme alignment, meaning that the grid could transmit energy as efficiently as a superconducting wire. And it wasn't just the transmission, it was the focus. Observatories in Chile and Hawaii noted that sunlight passing through the ice grid was being refracted in a calculated pattern, creating a natural lens. The energy from the sun, amplified and focused, was feeding directly into the signal sent toward the ocean floor. Meanwhile, the ocean beneath the Atlantic was responding. The South Atlantic anomaly lit up with magnetic energy. The ocean floor itself emitted pulses that increased in frequency and intensity, perfectly synchronized with the pulses from the atmospheric grid. Submarines detected rhythmic hums extending hundreds of miles, while thermal readings spiked, indicating that energy was being deposited directly into Earth's crust. Whatever lies beneath the Atlantic is receiving and interacting with the energy beamed from above, and all of this is orchestrated by 3I Atlas, an object in deep space, less than 50 kilometers wide. This adaptive system isn't static, it's learning. Satellite imagery shows that the ice lattice is slowly rotating, adjusting its alignment to maximize the beam's efficiency. By 12:30 UTC, energy transfer efficiency jumped from 40% to 85%. By 12:45 UTC, it was over 90%. Every movement, every pulse, every adjustment is calculated. The object in space, the ice grid in the stratosphere, and the magnetic response from the ocean floor are all part of a closed-loop system, functioning like a planetary scale machine. The implications are staggering. If the energy input continues, the total energy being funneled into the South Atlantic anomaly could surpass the annual energy output of all human civilization. The consequences for Earth's geophysics are profound. Fault lines are under stress. Magnetic field lines are being distorted. The potential exists for crustal shifts, earthquake swarms, or even more catastrophic events if the energy is redirected or amplified further. Humanity is effectively powerless. To intervene, the atmosphere cannot be melted, the signal cannot be blocked, and the timing is precise, calibrated down to the minute. By 13:15 UTC, the data revealed another extraordinary phenomenon. The frequency of the pulse from the ocean floor increased steadily, from 0.5 Hz to 0.7 Hz, and the waveform began showing a clear pattern. This wasn't a natural geological rhythm, this was structure, this was syntax, a countdown, or perhaps a sequence designed to trigger a resonant reaction in the planet itself. The longer the system operates, the closer Earth approaches a critical energy threshold, a tipping point that could release more energy than any human-made system has ever encountered. And yet, the world outside remains largely unaware. Aircraft over the Atlantic are grounded, carrier groups have repositioned, but the global public sees nothing. The only people who truly understand the magnitude are a handful of scientists, military operators, and astronomers watching real-time data streams from satellites, deep-sea instruments, and atmospheric monitors. As the ice lattice continues to adapt, 3I Atlas remains in perfect sync with Earth's natural frequencies. The Schumann resonance, the magnetic field, the oceanic response, all are linked, creating a network that channels energy seamlessly from deep space to the ocean floor. The level of precision required is almost incomprehensible. For comparison, human laboratories can manipulate atoms with laser cooling, barely adjusting energy at the nano-degree level. 3I, Atlas is coordinating thermal energy, electromagnetic fields, and geological responses across thousands of kilometers, instantaneously. At this point, the question is whether we understand the physics, it's whether we can survive the consequences. Each passing minute increases the energy in the South Atlantic anomaly, and with it, the potential for large-scale geophysical disruptions. Earth is being treated like an experiment, a circuit, and the clock is ticking. By 1330 UTC, the full scale of the operation orchestrated by 3I, Atlas became undeniable. The ice lattice in the upper atmosphere had realigned again, adjusting just 3 degrees, and the energy beam directed toward the South Atlantic anomaly doubled in intensity. Every pulse from the ocean floor responded with exact precision, creating a feedback loop so efficient that energy was no longer just being transferred, it was being amplified. Scientists watching the data in real time realized that Earth was in the process of becoming a massive resonating system, with the anomaly at its core. The consequences of any misstep could be catastrophic. The magnitude is staggering. Within the next 24 hours, if the sequence continues unchecked, the energy being injected into the crust will exceed the total output of human civilization for an entire year. Fault lines are under immense pressure. The Atlantic Ridge is now an epicenter of energy activity, sending thermal surges upward into the ocean. The magnetic field over the region fluctuates violently, rising tens of thousands of nanotesla in minutes, and the pulses from the ocean floor now carry a distinct structure, almost like a code. This isn't random, it's intentional. 3I. Atlas is not merely observing Earth, it is interacting with it, probing its interior, mapping its properties, and preparing for something beyond our comprehension. Meanwhile, the ice grid above continues to function like a planetary antenna. The crystals remain perfectly uniform, conducting energy from the sun, from the solar wind, and from the object itself. Sunlight passing through these lattices refracts in exact patterns, acting like a giant, focused lens. It is directing energy precisely into the anomaly below. Every adjustment, every pulse, every oscillation is calculated. The system is self-correcting. It is learning. It is optimizing. We are observing the most advanced energy transfer system ever deployed on the planetary scale, built, not by humans, but by an entity from deep space. The implications for humanity are sobering. Scientists warn that pumping this much energy into a geologically active region could trigger a range of disasters: massive earthquakes, widespread volcanic activity, magnetic pole disturbances, or even a planetary-scale tectonic event. The clock is ticking, and the efficiency of this process has now reached 92%. Every hour that passes increases the risk exponentially. Submarines detect the hum from hundreds of miles away. The ice lattice glows brighter with each passing moment, signaling that the system is fully active and adapting to maximize energy transmission. This system is also synchronized with the natural resonances of Earth. The pulses from the ocean floor, the atmospheric grid, and 3I. Atlas itself align with the Schumann resonance, Earth's own electromagnetic heartbeat. This level of precision is unprecedented. For humanity, this isn't just an observational phenomenon. We are witnessing a direct manipulation of the planet's energy systems. The consequences of a miscalculation, intentional or otherwise, could be catastrophic on a global scale. And yet, one critical question remains: why? Why target Earth's atmosphere? Why align pulses with human resonant frequencies? Why interact with the South Atlantic anomaly? The possibilities are terrifying. If this is merely a geological survey, we are being studied at a level of sophistication we cannot begin to imagine. If this is terraforming, the freezing of the atmosphere is just the first step, a prelude to altering the gas composition and reshaping the planet for an entirely unknown purpose. And if this is communication, then the signal from the anomaly may indicate that we are not alone, that an intelligence capable of engineering these planetary scale effects is attempting to reach us. As of 1345 UTC, the countdown to critical mass has begun. The energy stored in the ice lattice, the ocean floor, and the object in space is nearing levels that could trigger unprecedented geological activity. The pulse sequences are no longer simple. They have evolved into a complex pattern, a sequence building toward a resonance that could shatter ice shelves, destabilize faults, and trigger cascading events worldwide. Authorities have grounded flights, moved carrier groups, and issued geomagnetic storm warnings, but these are merely precautions. The fundamental force at work cannot be stopped. At this moment, the Global Observation Network is alive and recording every pulse, every shift, every spike of energy. Telescopes, satellites, hydrophones, and atmospheric monitors all confirm the same reality. Earth has become an active component in a system controlled by 3I, Atlas. And as we watch, the efficiency of energy transfer continues to climb. The ice lattice above glows brighter, the ocean floor hums louder, and the signals from deep space continue to synchronize with our planet's natural frequencies. Humanity is witnessing history, a planetary-scale experiment unfolding in real time, with stakes higher than anything we have ever faced. The question isn't whether this is happening, it is happening. The question is what comes next and whether Earth can survive the consequences. In the next hours, every second will count, and as of now, all evidence points to a single, unavoidable truth. 3I, Atlas is not just observing, it is acting, and the planet itself is the medium for its operation. Stay tuned. The story doesn't end here. In the final part, we will explore what this could mean for the future of life on Earth, the potential outcomes of the ongoing energy transfer, and the critical decisions that will define humanity's fate. You need to watch this until the end to understand the full magnitude of what is unfolding. By 14 UTC, the reality of the situation could no longer be ignored. The energy transfer from 3I, Atlas through the atmospheric ice lattice into the South Atlantic anomaly had reached a level that defies comprehension. The ice crystals above glowed with an almost electric brilliance, each perfectly aligned hexagonal lattice acting as a conduit, focusing energy across thousands of kilometers with precision that no human-made technology could match. Meanwhile, the ocean floor beneath the anomaly continued to pulse with structured mechanical vibrations, synchronized exactly with the signals from above. Every observation confirms the same terrifying truth. Earth is now part of a planetary-scale machine, controlled remotely by an intelligence in deep space. The efficiency of the energy transfer has surpassed 92%.